I take you for a ride on the devil's ship. I'll take you for a ride where you sink or swim. Now come with me and let this story begin.
Abdul Butt back in studio.
What's happening, man? Happy to be here. It's been a long time.
It has been a minute.
Dude, last time I was here, we were masked up.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember going through this hallway with like a mask on and like everybody.
Well, that was during the panic.
Yeah. We had to wear the mask through the hallway and
the Titanic panic.
I guess, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, it was a rough time.
Yeah, we were a bunch of pussies.
We were trying to stay alive in a situation that we didn't understand yet. I think is a better way to put it. But yeah, I guess now looking back, we were a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, we just didn't know. We were misinformed.
We didn't know. Yeah, we were all like freaking out. I mean, who knew what was going on at that time?
Fauci, apparently.
Listen, we're all just trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
And during the time that everything got shut down, what a weird moment in life to keep living through. If I like that you made Poseidon wear a mask though today.
Yeah, Poseidon, keep it on,
so he doesn't get his
fucking goddamn germs on us.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, keep your mask on, bro.
How am I gonna speak with a mask on?
We didn't want you to speak. I just said put your mask on, cover your face, maybe a paper bag. I got this one. And,
Fucking guy, bro.
So Abdul, how long are you in town for?
A couple weeks, man. I'm here for a couple more weeks and just kicking around in Montreal, doing some shows, working on some videos.
And then you're back to Florida?
I'm going to Florida. Yeah. I moved to Florida.
How is that?
It's interesting. It's fun. It's cool. I think I did it because I was fed up. I was just tired of the world we're living in, all this shit over here. Like I had a bunch of shows in February. I was supposed to make like a bunch of money. I was going on this like nice, it was like a good theater tour with like good comics. I was all excited.
Nice.
It was going to be a great time. And then everyone started getting sick again.
Last year, yeah,
in February. Yeah, this year in February.
This year. Yeah, I remember when they shut everything down again.
It's so new. Like it feels like we're far away because we're like finally allowed to do something.
We're so anxious, so much stress, yeah.
But it was literally in February. Everything got shut down. I lost all my gigs and I was so fed up of like just losing money every time. Like putting the work in to book gigs and then it just gets yanked from under you is depressing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I was on I have a green card, so I have to be living in the States and I don't want to live in LA. Everything was like crowded and super expensive and useless to be there. You're not having fun. You're not enjoying life when you live there.
People are defecating in the streets.
People are pretending to enjoy life there. Like, I don't know, when people go there on vacation and they're like, look at me on Runyon, and they're taking a picture of themselves. I'm like, what? How is this?
They cleverly cropped out the homeless guy masturbating.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't see all the homeless people behind you jerking off in the bush.
It's true.
Like I don't get it. I don't know where the culture is weird. Like we promote shit that isn't cool, but because it's got a marketing aspect to it, we just go along with the story. Yeah. So I went there. I saw it firsthand. Didn't like it. Thought it was a terrible place to live. I was in Canada because of the pandemic, and then I lost all my gigs. And I was like, you know what? I'm going where they're not shutting down. I was like, I'm gonna move to Florida for at least a year and just enjoy life. Like forget this, like I gotta book gigs and climb the ladder and do all these things. Like I was like, fuck it. I'm just taking life easy. I just want to enjoy life. I want to, have fun and not stress myself out with that shit. So yeah, got a place close to the beach. I ride a bicycle like a nerd. I go to the ocean, man, dude. I try to do stand up. I make a couple bucks where I can to pay my rent. And just live, man. I just want to live and enjoy, at least for a year. I just want to enjoy my life.
Right now, how do you feel there? Just good?
I feel, yeah.
Like it's the right decision?
When I'm there, I feel good. When I'm like here and I have to, because like everything's like, I'm like, all the contacts I made are here. Everyone I know, so when I'm here, I'm like, I don't know, should I be fucking am I throwing it all away? Am I wasting like a year of my life? But when I'm there, I'm like, oh, fuck, the sun is nice.
Yeah, I love the sun.
You're like, the ocean is so cool. Look at this, man. Like, no stress. I could literally just, if I want to go somewhere, I can get in a car. They got parking spots all over the place, not like LA or New York where you're circling. You can't get anywhere. It's a headache to live, like I just want an easy life. I don't want to live like, oh, could I do this? Am I getting shut down? Am I able to park when I want to go get groceries? Like I could do everything from where I am. I'm right off like the main, like the US one. I'm right there. I'm right on the ocean. So it's cool.
Is it clean?
Dude, super clean, man. They really clean. Like Florida, I was surprised. I thought like Republicans, obviously, listen, they're not everyone in Florida is a saint.
The gun-toting.
Right. Well, then it's the other side too. Not everyone's amazing. Not everyone's a saint, but also not everyone's crazy. Like
I found out why that is, the Florida
nice
man
people.
thing.
Oh,
I think Preach
yeah.
is the one who told us. Yeah, so Preach told me this. He goes, do you know why they make Florida look crazy? Like Florida man does this.
I could tell
so
you. Yeah.
There's a law.
Yeah.
Okay, you it's better if you say it because you're from there.
So you can dig up anything on anyone. So you can find anything anyone's been arrested for is public record.
You have to post. So here, for example,
So
let's
if
say
I piss in a bush and I get arrested, everyone here will be able to look it up and be like, he got arrested
over
in Florida.
there. Yeah, they don't have to
He
post
had
on
his
the
dick
news.
in his hand in a park. You know,
Exactly.
You can just twist it to whatever you want now.
Here, the news is whatever they decided is the news.
Right, yeah.
There, they have to post everything.
Right.
Anytime it's a crime. So that's why, because there's wacky crimes here too.
Yeah.
There's people who jerk off in bushes all the time,
yeah,
but you
for
don't
sure.
hear about it.
Right.
It's because they don't have to post it and they have
Yeah.
other news. Whereas there, everything goes through the filter.
Yeah.
So every time something gets picked up by the scanner, they have to post it.
And there's even like it's getting like dirtier now where there's like I think there was a documentary I watched on this where there's people that make money off of this. They're like a scammy TMZ but for just regular people.
What?
So like let's say you get arrested. Let's say Poseidon gets caught fornicating in a bush.
That is plausible.
So it's a very right.
Yeah.
But now this company, so now it's public record, right? So these people just go every night, they go through the record, every morning they go through the record, they go, who got arrested for what last night? And then they go, oh shit, look at this guy. And then they Google him. Oh, LinkedIn. Oh shit, this guy's he's a company guy.
Oh no.
He's got some shit he might lose. So then they send you a little message and they go, hey man, we got this record public knowledge that you, if you don't want us to make it like, you know, blasted on the internet, you could pay us some money and we won't do it. So there's like a dirty business going on behind that where people will like hold you for money, you know, if you get arrested for something. But that's the reason why it's super easy to have like Florida man stories is because literally everyone's dirty laundry is just out there. Like you can,
it's a little wacky. At the same time, I get if it's a crime,
because
it's weird.
You're not even guilty yet. It's just you got arrested. You didn't even go to court. You didn't even like.
Okay, you're right. Maybe when you're guilty, then it could be public.
Then it should be public.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the way it works is like you're arrested. It's public knowledge. You got arrested for this, and it's out there. So if you're a company guy that could lose something, yeah, somebody could go after you and ask you for money for it. So it's kind of dirty. But that's Florida. Florida's dirty.
Yeah.
Florida's like, I mean, America's like that, but Florida's really like
sneaky.
Everyone there is running for, like a lot of people, man. You meet people, they're all drifters. Like they're like
running away from something.
There's a lot of gangster guys. There's a lot of like mafia guys that like did their shit and they're trying to like live low now, which I kind of like when you do stand up because there's always like shady looking guys in the corner. And you know, that like, you can rag on them because like
if they were in New York they'd shoot you, but here they're trying to lay low.
They're trying to lay low, right? So like you can rag on them and they're like, this motherfucker right here fucking shitting on me from. And
if I just saw him in the city,
yeah, right. Like you can like, are you the stabby guy or the shooty guy? Which one are you, man? I can tell you did something dirty. Like, and they love it, but they're also like, some motherfucker, right? Yeah, I kind of like that for that. Like the crowds are, and again that like. I like rough crowds. I like crowds that are like rough around the edges where they're like, you know, small town or they've got some shit on them. Cause those people usually laugh more because they're like,
they're more open. They're
more open.
Yeah. They don't have that same, are they laughing? Is this me?
They know they fucked up in life. So they're not like the type of people that are like, not me. I'm a saint. I've never done anything. They're like, no, I murdered 7 people.
Yeah. I sucked off a cow.
That's an odd reason to run to Florida.
Cows don't even have dicks, bro.
Yeah, right.
Titties, bro. Bro, you can suck titties too. You know that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of
right away, this guy's like, whoa, bro, cow. I had to fucking blow a bull. What's this cow thing?
Yeah, how come I had to suck off a cow?
I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know tits were an option.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's a cool experience. It's a cool experience, and then you could say what you want on stage, like when you're working on material, like these rooms and that. Like people are. Like you don't get to say anything, but I mean, you probably could literally say anything, but it's good that you can take them where you want to go and not be worried about it.
Yeah.
They're pretty open. And I thought like when I first moved there, I was talking to this other comic, Danny Fallon, super funny guy from, I think he's from the north, but he lives there now. Very funny guy, and north of America. But I was telling him, and I go, the only thing I worry about is like, am I gonna turn into like one of these Florida guys that just says like shit that I could say here, but then I'll go anywhere else and they'll look at me crazy. And he's like,
oh, that's funny.
But he's like, dude, the only places that don't think like Florida is literally like New York and LA.
Yeah.
Any town, any state, anywhere else doesn't give a shit about that stuff. I was like, that's a good point. I never thought about that.
And the stuff that we're talking about that they don't give a shit about is because people might be thinking, is it crazy extremist stuff? No, it's joking about anything.
Yeah.
Joking about men and women, joking about religion, politics.
You say now, yeah.
That's the problem, is because people that, because they like to take a shot of context, they might be like, does he want to drop the N-bomb? That's not what we're saying.
No.
We're saying taboo things. So sexuality, religion, politics.
Dude, I could talk about the war there.
Yeah.
I could talk about, I've got my bit with like Asian drivers. I do this bit, and it sounds super racist when you start it.
Yeah.
But I could say it like, it's not. It's actually in favor. But it's like here, sometimes you would get like, over there,
right when
it's
you start,
like they like it's a different reaction to it.
They're happy that you put the switch on them.
Right.
And they're like, oh, you tricked me. I thought you were going to get a...
Here it feels like they're trying to look for where they can tell you said something wrong.
100%.
Yeah, so it's like they appreciate that you're doing it right, as opposed to here where they, no matter what, just because of the context, they're like, you can't even mention that at all.
French crowds are like that.
Oh,
when I deviate and I take him for a spin, I get the and they clap sometimes like, oh, this sneaky motherfucker. They appreciate the sneak. They're not like, well, I want her to be offended. They don't have that.
Right, that's a good point. Yeah, the English crowd, I find, is it leans more to the what can I find that's wrong with this, rather than let me let loose and just laugh.
Just laugh.
Right. But I feel like that's more, again, it's a big city thing. I think if you go to any small town, anywhere, anywhere else, if you're not in even Toronto, I'm sure at this point, I think it's changing. I think everyone our age is like fed up, and I think they're starting to just go fuck it, and they want to laugh at everything again.
I just don't like the extremes. I want to laugh at everything. I don't like if you go on stage and you make a joke, a good joke, let's say, it's funny, and it's about, I don't know, Indians, or it's about Greeks, or you're a Nazi,
Native Americans.
Yeah, it's just, those ones. But it's just, the extreme is, he's a Nazi. It's like, do you know what a Nazi was? On methamphetamines, killing people. Like, the extremism is ludicrous.
Right, yeah. Well, they just try to find anything. And there's not even a reason for it. Like, I did a TV taping this spring, and I have this bit about, about handicap parking, right? So they send me back, like, you have to send them your script of what you're going to say. So even though I sent them a tape, they go, you got to write it out and send it to us.
I hate that.
I send it to them, and then they come back to me with these notes from the network. They go, you can't say handicap. So I was like, okay, cool. And the guy that runs it's a comic, so he's like, hey, listen, man. He goes, they just said you can't say handicap. I'm like, exactly. I go, well, what do you want me to say?
Disabled?
And he goes, yeah. So he goes, I don't know. They didn't tell me. So I go, well, do you see how we're kind of in a dilemma here? Like, why can't I say it?
Yeah.
So then he goes,
but handicap is not a bad word.
Maybe just say disabled. Let's try. Right. It's not a bad
disabled
word.
Sounds worse.
Dude, disabled sounds worse.
10 times worse, at least.
At least tell me why disabled sounds better than handicap.
To you.
Right. I just want to know.
Handicap to me is normal. Handicap parking, like, that's the term we're using.
Right. And in Winnipeg, which I found out afterwards, and so I go up and I do this. Okay, as I found out afterwards, in Winnipeg, where I'm doing this taping, Winnipeg, it still says on the parking signs, it still says handicap parking. So they told me I can't say handicap,
but the city says it everywhere.
That says handicap. So
what about retard? Did you try that?
Dude, they wouldn't even. I wish I would have just said, if I would have said retard and just see where they would have went with that. Yeah. But I'm on stage and I do the bit because I'm so used to just saying handicap parking.
But I've never in my life, dude, I never thought that was an offensive term. It's written everywhere.
Dude, the bit stands up for, I'm on the side of having handicap, disabled, whatever you want to call it, parking. Spots, I'm making fun of people that are taking away these spots. And so I go up and I do it, and the crowd loves it, had a great reaction. And then as I walk off stage and they go, the stage director goes, you're going to have to do a pickup. Just wait here. And I go, oh, fuck. I go, why, what? And I know in my head it's because I said handicap. But it was just in the moment where, like, I do the bit all the time, and I'm not going to change the word because I know it works.
Yeah.
And
not just that, also, there's no reason.
There's no reason. As it comes up, it's better I do it how I say it than I do it how I don't say it, and it doesn't work, and you don't get a laugh, you know? So it worked. And then I come off stage, they tell me you're going to have to redo it. So I go, what line? They go, you said handicap, you got to say disabled. I was like, I was fucking furious because literally part of my set is I'm bitching about, I make fun of how Don Cherry got fired for words. Yeah. And so I get a laugh on that. And then they make me go out and redo the joke. And it's not their fault. Like, I get it. It's a network that made them want to do it. I don't
What network? CBC?
Yeah, CBC that wanted to change it.
But they're a bunch of tards, bro.
Right, well, I mean, it's just... Everyone's trying. It's just a question of, like, everybody's trying to tread water. Everyone's trying to just,
it's fake.
Right, exactly. It's not real. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody would have cared. The crowd laughed. Why is it a problem, right? But it's because
soon it's not going to be disabled. It's going to be like, yeah, blue parking. And then someone who's colorblind is going to be like, what the fuck does that mean? You're saying it's blue, so I can't understand what it is.
Exactly. There's always going to be something. There's always they're going to find some reason for something that you can't say. So that's why I never change it or I never apologize, because I go, no matter what, you're always going to find a reason for anything I say. So I went out and the crowd was like laughing because they knew. I mean, my whole set was just shitting on how we're living and how we're so scared to say and do things now. And so they're laughing at me, and I go out and I called it out. I go, apparently you can't say handicapped on the CBC. So the crowd starts laughing, and I do the bit again, and I was just so mad. Not mad, but just like annoyed. I was like, is that it? Are you guys, is this good? You get what you want? Are we done here? And the crowd just started clapping because it felt like
they understood.
They felt me. Yeah. They felt me like, and people were coming up to me after the show and stopping me and going, dude, that was amazing. Like, thank you for fucking standing up for what you said and not being afraid of saying,
sorry, guys.
Like, I don't understand why we're living through this time where we can't, I don't know. It seems more in Canada. It seems like Canada's holding on to something that it's like, it's done. Could we stop now? Could we fucking move on?
It's because of Trudeau. Trudeau overdid it. Trudeau kept saying woman-splaining. What else did he say? Mankind, no, womankind. Like, he overdid it.
Right.
And a lot of people viewed the leader of the country as like the blueprint of how the country should act. So a lot of people adopted it and said, well, look, it's coming from the top. We have to be overly sensitive to a point where it's comical, to a point where it's like, welcome. Oh, actually, I don't know if, do you feel welcome right now?
Right.
Do you feel well? Like, so what are you talking about? How is that offensive?
Yeah, we're a scared population. I think it's like, even if you say anything remotely like non-Trudeau supportive,
oh, they go nuts.
People just think
Nazi.
you're a fucking trucker. Like, everyone's like,
but even that, the truckers, bro, the truckers did nothing wrong.
Dude,
they have the legal right to protest.
Don't get me started.
No, they have the legal right to protest. I can't.
Dude, I have nothing against any of that.
I would be, if I would come out now and I would say the truckers were wrong, you're not allowed to protest, I would be a hypocrite because I believe in the right to protest. And also they did it peacefully. I believe in that. I can't lie and be like, well, here's the thing. I can't lie. It's true. That's what we have a charter.
Here's the thing. You're allowed to protest.
We allow other people to protest when they break shit, and that's cool.
You're allowed to protest in this country. You're allowed to, it's your right, right? You can see, now the thing is, like, most people don't realize it because they don't follow the news a lot. I'm a political comedian.
You're a political junkie.
I follow like, that's all my comedy is pretty much based around news and
which
politics.
is why I like asking you stuff sometimes, because you'll have the answer. You'll be like, bro, I looked into this.
Dude, I watch, like, I mean, it's what I've done since I started. I grew up watching, like, you know, politics, international news with my dad, and watching, like, seeing different angles of stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's where my comedy comes in, is because I like news. I like pointing out the obvious, that news is bullshitting you in some sense, and it's fucking, don't say that they're not. They are. So there of course, there's obviously reasons with some things, not everything. Of course, the news. I mean, it's not a journalist's job to fuck up the news. It's whoever's running the network.
And the people running the network here in Canada,
journalists are honest. They're trying their best to do what they can, but they're
also pushed a certain way
because
their
hands are tied.
The only way they're making money now is that the government is fucking giving them. No, but the government is giving them
100%. They get grant money from the government. Do you think the government? You think they're not going to go with what the government's narrative is?
But that's what I keep telling people. You can't talk shit about it because then they're just going to cut your grant money. You don't exist.
Yeah, right. You're a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and you know what the conspiracy theory is? Is that every news network gets millions of dollars in grant money every year.
Yeah, that's real.
And we think they're honest.
Yeah, that's fucking real. So just imagine if you don't understand. I'll put it in a smaller scale for you to understand. You work every day, you have a 9 to 5, and you need that 9 to 5 to support your family.
Right.
Okay? Your boss, clearly a dick now, okay?
Right.
Piece of shit. But if you tell him, you're a fucking dick, or you tell me this guy's a dick, you lose your job. Are you going to tell people he's a dick, or are you going to be like, yeah, he's a good boss? Because you need that. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're suffering. They've
100%. You can't do anything. Like,
can't do anything.
You can't do anything. You have no choice but to go along. Man, when I was on 22, I did a piece on, and the conservatives were in power when I was on this hour's 22 minutes. I went to Calgary to make fun of them because they were having their conservative convention in Calgary. So I went there,
CC baby,
and I was pointing out a lot of stuff in their
conservative convention in Calgary.
In Calgary, yeah.
CCC, I like what's happening there. Yeah.
So I go there and I started like chasing after a lot of these politicians, making fun of them, and they didn't want to talk to me because, of course, it's the conservatives and the CBC.
Yeah.
So they didn't want anything to do. The road producer I was with, she was the sweetest lady. She's awesome. She was like, she's trying to get. She's like, do you guys want to do an interview with our correspondent from this? And they're like, fuck you, and they just walk away. Nobody gave a shit. Like every conservative just left. They were like, fuck you, and left. They didn't want to give us the time of day. So I was like, listen, Susan, I get it. You're doing, this is not how I do shit. I go after them. Like, I don't wait for them to go, yes, I want to participate. I go after them and I say what I want to say, and then I watch them react. That's the funny.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going at them.
Like Eric Andre.
Oh, dude, I just started chasing after them through this convention. Like security came after me at one point, and the guy comes up and he's laughing and he goes, listen, man, he goes, I like what you're doing. But this is my job. He's like, if you want to do it, just stay behind this line. And like, if you get 6 feet past this line, I'll have to come tell you. But as long as you just do it and like get back, I won't come see you. Like, dude, this is where people are, and they're cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, man. So politicians were coming through the door, and I was just fucking chasing them. So Patrick Brazeau was like singing like "Friends in Low Places," and I was like, who's singing "Friends"? Like I was just shitting on them all.
I like this.
I was going. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. So they told me when I came back, they go, a lot of it they cut out because they go, it seems too mean. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, isn't this hour is 22 minutes? Isn't that like Mark Delahunty chasing somebody, kissing someone on the lips just to get them like, it's
to
like,
react. Yeah.
To get like to shit on them to get a reaction. So I'm like, isn't that what we do here? And they were like, well, they're in power, so like we don't want to piss them off, if something happens and they're not gonna, so you can't tell me that there is no motive or narrative that is being spewed, because there's a higher power. And if you want to keep your job and you want to keep getting your funding, you kind of have to play in those lines.
I hate that.
And if you watch 22 Minutes today, it's what it is. It's like, they were trying to do something when I was on the show, and the showrunner at the time, I give him all like credit for really taking a jump and trying to make it more of an Americanized, or keep that old school 22 Minutes feel of like chasing politicians.
Aggressive.
Yeah. And like calling them out. And that's their job. Your job is to call them out on the bullshit. But now it's turned into like, how can we help them campaign? Like, we want them to be nice and talk to us. So we're not going to shit on them. We'll go to their riding, and we'll go in a ball pit with them, and we'll have like the host, go snowshoeing or go like, skydiving with them.
But that defeats the purpose. That's like someone coming to watch me do stand up, and I'm not trying to make him laugh. I'm trying to teach him something
or something.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, that's not your job.
The Ming Dynasty, when it's what the fuck do I care about the Ming? Tell them it's a joke.
It's not your job. Your job is a political comedian is to tear down and reconstruct, like tear down what they're doing and lay it out for the people in humor. You're supposed to tear it down. You go, this is the bullshit, and this is why they're funny and they're hypocritical, and why they're doing what they're doing is stupid and wrong. But you won't get the grant money. So you can't say that there is no narrative. There is. I mean, here, you want a perfect example of a news narrative? Lisa LaFlamme.
Yeah.
Lisa LaFlamme got fired, right?
I heard she was selling drugs to school children.
Who knows, man? All the stories are skewed.
Yeah.
So here's Lisa LaFlamme, a journalist of what? I don't know if you want to Google it, 40 years maybe?
Many
I don't
years,
know
Lisa
how many
LaFlamme.
years.
I remember
decades,
watching her.
Right? Decades. And she's telling us all that she was fired because of difference of opinion and they didn't like the way she was looking. People were saying, or other journalists, who I trust journalists. I don't trust the network. I trust the journalists because they're...
I don't trust anyone.
I feel like journalists, really, the good journalists, they got into
The good
this for a
journalists, you
reason.
tell me, you find them.
They got into it the same reason I got into doing political comedy. Is like
loved it.
you hate when you see things that are wrong and you want to point it out so that people understand and see what and make a change. You want to make a change. So I don't blame them, but the journalists are telling us all what she went through, and the journalists are saying she was, this network doesn't hire people, or will, try to push people out once you get a certain age. They don't want you to look the way you look. They want to tell you how to look. So she's saying these things. And then here's the network, the news network, putting out an article after just saying it's none of those things. It was just a business decision. Okay, so if the news isn't biased, who am I believing? The journalist telling me the story or now the news network? Because there's two different stories. So you can't say that there is no bias.
Because clearly there's a difference right there, huge
bias
difference.
right in the room that they're all sitting in, Like, how can you say that?
And yeah, people were saying they said she didn't look good, but she's 58. For a 58-year-old,
Lisa LaFlamme is hot.
Yeah, she's still looking fly.
No. 35 years. So imagine. So here's a journalist of 35 years telling me one story, and here's a news network telling me the other story. So now you're trying to tell me there is no bias in
Even with the white hair, she
media?
looks cool. It's silver.
I mean, they can't even agree on what they're telling as the story.
Looks fine. Look at that. What's wrong with her?
Well, it's a question of money. At the end of the day,
I think in my
she's
head,
making too much money, and
that's what I thought.
What the networks are all trying to do now is anybody who's at the top, who's making
Cut them down.
they're trying to cut them down and just pop in somebody new, which
will
is
do it for free.
who will do it for less money. They just, it's all a business decision. They've gotten to a point where they need to cut who's making the. There's no more money to be made, like other than slash your funds.
Yeah.
So they got rid of her, but I mean. You're telling me the news isn't biased. They told us a different story than the journalist was telling us. I mean, Lisa LaFlamme is the journalist. She told us one story, and the news network told us another story. How is that not biased? How is there not, a problem with the way news is being told?
But you're preaching to the choir, because I'm with you on this, but the majority, not the majority, the vocal majority, I guess, the people that are going to be on Twitter are going to call you a conspiracy theorist. And that they'll watch two different stories and be like, no, there's no bias, there's no difference. Like, but there's two different fucking stories.
Of
Dude,
the same thing from the people that are supposed to be telling us the news.
Dude, I see this on Twitter all the time. And because we talked about the convoy, the protest, dude, still now, and when somebody brings what I'm going to bring up now, they just either mute them or don't reply.
Right.
So I say, if Trudeau was right in letting this extend in a month and they took over Ottawa, the truckers, because of him, right? The Emergencies Act, then why is it that a day later he just fucking dropped the mandates? He knew he could have dropped them. He didn't need to go through this, but he wanted to say, I'm in charge, not the protesters.
Right.
So you try to big dick everyone. The whole city suffered.
Yeah.
You put people in jail. All this shit happened for what? You were going to drop them anyway, like every other country did on the planet. So why is it that we let this guy's ego could dictate the scenario, and people don't come out and be like, all right, wait a second. If he did agree with him in the end, then the Emergencies Act wasn't necessary. We didn't even need to have people protest.
Right.
He was going to take it out anyway, but he wanted to be the one making the decision. He didn't like the fact they were protesting. That's crazy. He put his ego ahead of the country.
I think it's a question of it's not his ego. It is in a sense, but it's to win votes. So you look at the culture and you look at what's going on online, right? So you have most people that are voting Liberal are looking at this and they go, they're going to listen to what the Prime Minister's saying. Now, this is a large group of people going against the Prime Minister. So he's going to stick up for his decision and himself. Otherwise, he's going to lose votes. He's not going to, if he backs down.
But his decision ultimately was what they were asking for.
Right. But if he backs down to what they're asking for, it makes it look as if he's not really running the country. So he has to have a stern stance against them.
But in the end, he followed suit.
Right, but they are not his voting demographic. So he's not trying to please them. He's trying to please the other side who is against that because That's
But how are
what
they
he
against
said.
that if now they're living like that? They're living without the mandates.
Because we didn't know at the time. At the time, everybody was like, lockdown, wear your
Every
fucking
other
mask.
country had taken them off.
Right, but they didn't. That Canada has been following what Trudeau has been pushing. He's been pushing the whole time. So his fan base, his supporters, his voters are gonna want him to say what they're aligned with and what they've been aligned.
Crazy.
But if you really think about it, this country has freedom of speech. So
no, it doesn't.
Okay, we're talking theoretically.
Yeah.
You're supposed
America
to have.
does.
You're supposed. No, America doesn't either. Nobody has freedom of speech.
No, America
the
does
moment
technically.
you turn against the fucking superpower, your freedom of speech
Now,
is gone. It's there. It doesn't exist. Okay, this is all bullshit. This is what they tell us because they want you to vote for democracy, right? They keep telling you we want democracy.
And then they take the rug right from under you. They fucking pull
they tell you he's trying to tell people you can't. He just came out because they were against what he wanted. So he just comes out and goes, they're all racist. Yeah, they're all racist. They're all sexist.
Bunch of Sikhs.
Hold on a second. How do you say they're all racist? You can't just label a giant group. I knew a guy that was from half Pakistani, half Portuguese. He's fucking down there. He's not. How is he racist?
It was Sikhs that I knew. It was all the truck drivers
There
from
you
here.
go.
They
There's
were all.
Sikhs.
They lost their mind. They're like, what the fuck's he talking about?
They're all
They were
racist.
called white supremacists, and he's like, bro, I'm from fucking India.
They're all racist. For the prime minister, this is where this just blew my mind. I watch a lot. I've been watching politics since I was a kid. This blows my mind. I go, the leader of our country is just coming out and calling a large group of citizens racist and discrediting them without even hearing their voice. That goes against what Canada is.
Yeah.
Canada, you're supposed to listen to the people. They're citizens. I don't care if they're racist. I don't care what they did in their past. They're citizens. It's their right for you to listen to them and treat them as they are citizens. Totally refused, pretended they didn't even exist, didn't even give a shit, labeled them all to discredit them. How can you even use the term they're racist, so I'm not talking to them, when this whole country has been founded off of racism? Fucking the first prime minister was racist. Our whole system was set up on racism.
Well, the current prime minister is racist too.
Listen, I don't want to get involved with that, but if you're going to tell me, if you're going to tell me.
Hold on, the way you just said that was so funny. I don't want to get involved with that.
I mean, fucking, bro.
Because it's
old face paint Trudeau.
It goes right back to the fabric of this country, man. If this country was founded off racism, if you're going to tell me we have to live as Canadians, as our values and our rights, and this was created in our, in our charter, and we respect it because we're Canadian, well, all of that was founded off of racists. So you're trying to tell me this group of people you're discrediting for being racist no, they shouldn't be listened to. But meanwhile, the culture of this fucking country was founded off racists. So
this is a smart angle.
How can you tell me you can't? No, you have to listen to everyone and don't discredit them. If you're going to champion one racist, don't fucking knock down another racist. You either knock them all down or you fucking put them all on a playing field that's equal.
Oh, I like this.
That's the type of shit that pisses me off. And then, but people are too scared. Like
let's be honest, a lot of people are fucking stupid. They won't look this deep.
People are stupid, but then the thing is it's not that they're all stupid. It's that they're nervous. They don't want to be labeled as anything, and then they don't know how to defend themselves because they don't know enough or they don't know as much. So they kind of they're trying to play in limbo. They want to keep everyone happy, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I post things that are anti-Trudeau, whatever. I mean, it's not it's a fucking joke, right? I make fun of everyone in power. That's my fucking job.
That's my thing.
I make fun of everybody in power. But when I make fun of liberals, people will be like, oh, are you conservative now? No, I voted NDP since Jack Layton. I haven't voted for the Liberals.
I haven't liked the NDP since Jack Layton.
Before Jack Layton, I used to vote Liberal.
I haven't liked the NDP since Jack Layton. That guy was a fucking hero. It's true.
Yeah, right.
And then after that, it went
100%. But I'm still holding on to fucking hope that maybe that we need. We need another power to come in and shake things up and go fuck off.
I hate communism, bro. I hate all that shit. Okay, but Jack Layton, even though he was pushing a socialist, he made sense and he seemed to actually care about fucking people.
Right.
I believe in that dude.
Right. But to tell
That's
me
why
that
they
I'm a
killed him.
conservative, to tell me I'm a conservative because no, my job is to take down anyone in power.
Yeah.
When Stephen Harper was there, I was on 22 Minutes taking down the conservative government. When the liberals are in power, I'm gonna fucking.
I protested against Harper. I was in high
I'm
school.
gonna take down the fucking liberals, man.
That's what I'm saying. I protested against Harper.
Right.
In high school. I went fucking downtown, protested the wars. I fucking used to
There you
protest
go.
all the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Same.
Yeah.
I've been in a protest. Yeah.
I'll fucking. So that's why.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it would have been hypocritical of me to be like, I protested the conservative guy,
Right.
but you're not allowed to protest the liberal. What the fuck? You protest something you don't believe in.
But that's where we're being pushed, and the politicians are pushing us there now. That's why it's like when a prime minister comes out and discredits a whole group of people and labels them
crazy.
as one sort.
Yeah, I didn't like
that. So that's when people go, okay, well, I don't want to be on that team because look, everybody that like thinks that maybe they had a point, they're just being called racist. So I don't want to even be associated. So you're scaring people from even having their fucking own ideas now, which is against what this country is. You're supposed to have freedom of speech. So to tell people you can't, man, I get messages sometimes from people that are in high positions at good jobs that message me
and tell you thank you for saying the shit that I can't say.
But
I
they
get that
won't
too.
say it publicly on Facebook or on Instagram. They won't put a comment, but they'll send me a message, and I will never tell anyone who they are, and I'll never say anything.
Yeah.
Because I get why they do it. But we're living through a time where you have to think if people are scared to talk, that's not a fucking free society.
I've had big comics. One of them at least follows me. The other one said, doesn't publicly follow me, but goes to look at my page and said likes what I do, but can't follow me because he's scared if one day I say something too crazy and but he goes, I agree with it fully, but I just can't publicly because you see my career, it's taken off and all that.
I got friends like that.
And I'm like, bro, this is nuts.
Yeah.
This is nuts. What kind of life are we living?
Yeah.
I don't even ask. I don't even care what political. I don't care if you're right, left, unless you're some kind of a violent Nazi or communist, like a
100%.
real one, not just media.
You're harming somebody.
Yeah, if you're harming somebody, then I'll be like, whoa, what the fuck, bro? But everything else, I don't give a shit, bro.
Yeah.
You want to vote for more? I don't know, more soup kitchens, less soup kitchens. Go ahead, do whatever the fuck you. I don't give a shit. It's not my prerogative.
I don't know. I've got a lot of like. I just see the way that our culture is going now, and it doesn't. People are not thinking for themselves because they're scared. And that's not free. That's not telling people that they're free to live and think the way they are, because if they're going to be fired or they're going to be shamed because they feel a certain way. I mean, listen, you had, how many truckers were there? What, like fucking, or we're all saying truckers. How many people?
Those people in
Forget
general.
truckers.
I know
how many people were frustrated with this country at that time?
Dude, more than half were frustrated,
No,
bro.
but like how many thousands of people were there? There was like,
a lot.
There was a lot of people, right?
A lot.
Tens of thousands, right?
Yeah, a
so
lot.
to tell me they're just all racist and go wash your hands and like, that's it, we're done.
Also, they were lying about the numbers. I remember,
Dude, there was a lot of people.
Remember in the beginning what they were trying to say?
That weren't even there.
A few hundred people, there was this, and then people were releasing live stream videos, and then they had to up the numbers, be like, oh, we can't see 400 people, bro. We could see on camera 10,000.
Yeah.
So they would have to keep changing the numbers. But why would you lie from the beginning?
Yeah.
Just say there's a shit ton of people angry. Why are they angry?
Right.
X, Y, Z. Yeah, this stuff doesn't make sense anymore. Every other country dropped it. It's not real. You're just having people threaten their livelihood. Let's talk about it. They wouldn't talk about it. They said they're racist. So they're racist for wanting what every other country at the time had. Now, it's the same thing with the stupid ArriveCan app.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, millions. How much did we spend on that garbage, right?
$50-something million they projected.
Something useless.
Yeah.
Something so fucking stupid, okay?
That was already was already done. That app already existed.
Bro, it's a nothing. I don't know what the fuck they
If
paid
you want to fucking
for.
pull this up and talk like conspiracy theorists.
It's not conspiracy.
It's not. It's real.
These are real.
That app already existed and was a program between us and I think Denmark.
Now, here's the crazy part. Let's say I'll tell you why it didn't even make any sense. Because if Canada dictated that you need to have your vaccine in order to travel, then in order to book your ticket, you have to have your QR code or whatever. You shouldn't be able to book a ticket or wherever to travel without your vaccine, right?
Right.
So you wouldn't need another app. We already had the stuff that showed your They
Right.
were basically asking you to create an app. They had a new app that they paid for that would just let you take your information that you already had and put it in the app instead of just putting it, and then they would take it instead of just giving it to them directly. It was this middleman that was not needed. That's why the price of it is suspicious. Someone pocketed fucking money because it was useless.
Oh, 100%. There's going to be a lot of shady shit these days,
dude.
man. There's a lot of things that were overinflated in the price.
And none of this mattered because I remember no one could even check so when I was in Athens, I had to go from Athens to Italy, and then from Italy to Africa. I went to Tunisia.
Oh.
Now, Tunisia, for some reason, had a thing where, no, if we're getting people in, make sure they're vaccinated, right? So I get to the airport. I didn't know this. The guy's like, yeah, you need to show me your QR code. And I'm like, what? He's like, you gotta show me. I go, but you can't scan my QR code. It's from Quebec.
Right.
You know what I mean? The guy's like, yeah, you have to show it to me. So I look at my phone, and I had, even though I have my fucking, the vaccines, but I didn't have the thing on me readily. But what I had was tickets from the Notre Dame de Paris that I went to see the play.
Okay.
So just show him the barcodes. My wife is like, all right, cool.
Wow.
Because it's
right.
fucking,
yeah.
It's, of course, you can't scan it anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's all stupid. All of this was just fucking well, I mean, even there was a company that came out, they put it on the list of, they paid them millions of, a couple, I don't know, million or something as one of the partners to develop this app. And the company was like, we never even worked on this app.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, this came. So now I don't think they even displayed, like, they didn't even follow up on this now, but there's a lot of blatant bullshit lying that's been going on and spending
they're pocketing
money.
Millions.
Yeah,
but who's making this money?
It's going out to people that they know, and they're just, well, it'll come out, I guess, eventually. But I think there's so much bullshit
the only way
going on right now. It's gonna get, a lot of it's gonna get like just
buried.
thrown under under the rug.
The only way it'll come out is they need like a majority conservative government to win, so they can open all the doors.
Journalists will do it. Journalists are good enough at digging, man.
But not now, because now no one's gonna push these stories out. The government needs to shift.
There's good journalists still that'll do it. There's global news. I got to say, out of all the fucking
really?
are pretty good, man.
Down the middle.
Pretty good at for me, man, out of all the networks I watch, like, I got to say, global, they got journalists that are really doing some stuff that is impressive, that they're going against the government. I mean, they put out a thing. I mean, Trudeau's main supporters, like most of his people that funded his campaign that were donating money, all came from British Columbia. Most of them came from British Columbia, which is completely unheard of from most politicians. Literally every politician, the most amount of donations they get for their campaign comes from their riding.
Yeah.
He's the only one who had the most donations from British Columbia.
You know who lives in BC? Chinese nationalists. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, they all came. It's Global News did a whole fucking thing.
You see, Poseidon, sometimes my mind is quick. It works.
Dude, what they were doing.
The Chinese government is fucking supporting
what they were doing, man. They're bringing in fentanyl through British Columbia. That's where they started. They were cleaning the money that they were making off of it by buying real estate. Dude, they were
Global News uncovered this?
Yeah, man. Global News did, and not only just
then
real estate.
I'm gonna give props.
Not only real estate, they did a whole thing
props to Global
on how they were cleaning money through the BC casinos. There's a whole document, like a piece. They did an hour-long special on how they were cleaning money through BC casinos. They were paying high rollers. They were giving them bags of cash to go in, convert it into chips. They go in, they play for an hour or two. They're high rollers. They know how to make some money or whatever.
Yeah.
So they come back out, they go out and they cash it, and it's clean. Dude, they were cleaning money. And when the security, the guy in charge of catching that brought it up to his officials, to his managers, they just turned the other way. He moved to Australia. The guy in charge was Australian. He moved back to Australia because he was fucking basically shunned out because they were all like, nobody wanted to listen to him. But they were cleaning money through BC casinos and real estate. And even till today, all the real estate was selling for cash. Who the fuck has cash to buy $1 million property? And there's no trace. And you can buy it with cash. So who's asking questions? You have foreign investors coming here, dumping millions of dollars in real estate, buying up everything cash, driving up the price of your real estate. Now people here can't even afford to live in a fucking home, and your houses cost so much money because it was driven up by cash business with shell companies, so nobody even knew who was buying it. Dude, all of this stuff is it's not conspiracies. This is Global News put this out. They're not we're not talking about.
I didn't hear anything about this.
Well,
these are the kind of stories that I love.
Dude, it's what's happening in our time.
Pieces.
What's happening in our time right now is, as somebody who enjoys or watches the news a lot, this is like one of the most insane times of our generation, previous generations. This is like a time where people are not understanding what's going on because we're so stressed out about the price of everything going up all the time. You don't even know what the fuck gas is. One day it's $1.90, the next day it's $1.70.
The next day it's $2.30.
Dude, you go get butter. It's like, what the fuck? A thing of butter is like $2 more now. Like, so everyone's mind is so occupied with everything else that you're not even paying attention to what they're doing. You know, we're not even looking at what's happening in the world. So they can get away with whatever they want at this point. You know, it's so easy. It's like a free for all. I mean, look at Montreal. You're trying to tell me that there isn't organized crime, like an influx of illegal shit coming into this place?
We know this. There's been
there's shootings and stabbings every fucking day. When have you ever heard? What was Montreal, like 20 murders in a year? Maybe.
Oh, we get it in a month
Maybe. Now. Like, dude, every fucking night somebody's murdered.
Yeah.
When did this happen besides before the pandemic? Never. So, and then if you talk about it, you're a conspiracy theorist, man.
Even though there's statistics.
You know? Yeah, there's statistics. It's like, no, start asking these questions. Like, the people, that's why when they shit on the truckers, I was like, listen, these are not just people that are going, I don't want the vaccine. These are people going, my life is getting way harder to live. I'm losing a lot of the rights. I go to the doctor, I can't even see a fucking doctor anymore. I go to the hospital, I have to wait 24 hours, and then they just send me home. There's a problem. So when people start congregating up in front of the government to say these things, and the government wants to hide it, it's very easy to just go, they're all racist. We need to get rid of them. They're peeing on the statues. We got to get them out of our city.
I remember the outrage. Yeah.
You know, like
one guy peed on a statue.
It's easy to fucking just discredit a whole group of people when they're calling you out on your bullshit and you just make them look crazy. You know, that's where it's scary, is when you see this shit happening and people are just like letting it fly. It gets scary.
It's more than letting it fly. I think I wouldn't mind as much if people were just letting it fly. It's the fact that they tag on. Poseidon, another beer?
Get another one of these,
if they would, the fact that they tag on to it, that's what bothers me, is the fact that people then will go, because I use Twitter a lot to gauge society.
Right.
And I notice, because I follow like a lot of accounts. And I follow like so I'll tell you why. First, I'll tell you why the news, I don't trust any news source, because they're all biased. Like, people are gonna tell me, "Oh, you don't want the spin. Yeah. Look at Rebel Media." But Rebel Media also has a bias. They hate everything on the. Rebel
Media is not.
But that's what I'm saying. So then you look at Rebel Media, and let's say Trudeau has a picture with a cat.
Right.
He'll be like, Trudeau's gonna sacrifice that cat. It's like, but that doesn't help either. You get like, so there is no. That's why I like to take what's going on and then use my brain, be like, this isn't good, this is bad.
Right.
But I follow a lot of accounts, even obviously on that have different beliefs, but some that are troll accounts.
Right.
And people don't get that they're troll accounts. So I like watching the interactions.
Right.
But I notice in Ontario, there are a lot of like media personalities, journalists, and politicians all together, a lot of them liberal.
Right.
That it's fanatical, lunatic shit. Like, they'll have like a Pierre Poilievre video and he goes, you know, the government needs to address this. And he'll say something like factual, like, where'd the money go for this? Where'd the money go for this? Where's the money for... They'll take that clip and they'll be like, this guy's asking where the money went.
Where's
like,
the money coming from?
That's
his like tagline.
Yeah, exactly.
Should be on a t-shirt for Pierre Poilievre.
But then the way they'll spin it, though, is like... This guy's asking where the money is, as if Trudeau did this. Now we're gonna ask you, what about? And they'll whataboutism, something that has nothing to do with either Trudeau or him.
The question, or
something good. And I'm like, but guys, that's a real. I know Millhouse annoys you, but it's a real. But it's a real question.
Yeah.
Where is the money?
Yeah.
Like, and I'll be like, this is crazy.
Well, it's spin. He's using it in his advantage, and then they're spinning it for their. They're all full of shit. You know, they're all full of shit.
Yeah.
Democracy.
Then Jagmeet Singh has been tweeting. He's like,
dude,
can you believe that the companies that made the most money during the pandemic were Loblaws or whatever? He's like, I could believe it because you voted to shut everyone else down.
Yeah.
Why are you acting surprised? You voted so they could be the only ones open.
Dude.
And he's shocked. He's like, how did this happen?
Dude,
you voted for it.
It's all a theater. Democracy is a theater, and every fucking politician is a terrible actor. This guy voted for to be in a coalition with the Liberals, and now he's campaigning every day on Twitter talking shit about the Liberals,
about what they did together.
Why the fuck did you agree to be in a coalition with them if you think what they're doing is helping the fucking rich and the big guys who
He's the one who did it. He's the one who he voted for this thing. He's like,
but, dude,
can you believe the government did that? Weren't you part of that? Look, bro, don't be racist.
People don't know enough about politics, so it's easy to manipulate. People don't, listen, they want, like, okay, here's a perfect example. Democracy is our way of life, right? We got to say that. If you say you're against democracy, you're a communist, right? You're a communist.
And you're either a communist or a fascist.
Right, yeah, you shouldn't be, that's not, we are democratic, we're in this democracy.
Yeah.
How many people show up to fucking vote? Every year, like
less than half, around half,
30%, sometimes 35%, of the people, maybe if you're lucky, show up to vote. Isn't that a fucking clear indication democracy is broken?
Yeah.
If people don't give a shit enough to go, isn't that a big enough sign to go, maybe this isn't working? If it's over 50, I mean, what was high school? What did you need as a passing mark in high school?
60.
Right. So if we're not at 60 or above, is it not credible to say democracy is failing?
This isn't a legit government? Because the majority hasn't voted for any of them?
It's not the government. It's literally...
No, but think about it, right? If it would be 30%,
right.
70%, so the majority of the population has not voted you people in.
Yeah. What was the numbers, Poseidon?
I thought the last one was high.
What was the percentage of Canadians that voted in the last federal election?
Yeah, and the last one was suspicious too because the government that was in charge, the Liberal government, Trudeau came out and said, if you don't vote for me, these Nazis are going to take over the country, which I'm pretty sure skewed some dumb voters.
A lot of people were fucking like, I better get out there. And then they give you little stickers you can put on. So you're like, I like a sticker.
By the way, this is actual pictures of Jagmeet making decisions in politics.
That's hilarious.
Just
putting his own stick in his wheels. Yeah. It's hilarious what we're living through. And it's people don't know. And I don't blame them. It's a hell of a time we're living through. You got your kid to worry about. You got your job you got to take care of. Traffic's a bitch. I get it. It's not your job. It's their job to be honest and to take care of the population, but they're not. They're not being honest anymore. That's where...
So, it has been dropping year in, year out. Usually it's around 3/4 of Canadians voting, but now
75%. That's good.
Yeah, now we're down to 62.
Okay, so we're above 60%.
62.
Who's that? Well, I guess I was thinking Montreal politics. Then I think it was Quebec or Montreal that was like
Quebec and Montreal.
It was like a 35. It was like a shit number.
Well, Quebec. I'll give you an example. This year, none of the parties spoke to me. The Conservative, the PQ, the Communists, or the CAC. So I didn't vote. There was no one I could, with good faith, vote for. I hated all of them.
Yeah,
what am I going to vote for?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. This is where are you looking at this?
This is Quebec.
Quebec is high or low? Low, huh?
No, dude. What is this website you're looking at?
Electionsquebec.qc.
Okay, Elections Quebec. And what's the number of people that voted?
Well, this year was 66.15.
Oh, that's good.
66% of the population voted for in the election?
Allegedly.
Oh, they
shit. Wow, okay. Maybe well, I'll take that back then. I guess democracy's working. Let's just keep going through the fucking rounds.
All right. I mean,
I don't know. I don't to me, I just think if people are not showing up to vote and people are pissed off, like if you're having that many people show up for a protest, let's not just discredit them. Let's go
especially now that we know that a good majority votes, you shouldn't discredit them. You should listen. Be like, okay, what do we need?
Right. Yeah. Well, exactly. It's like listen to what their problem is. Listen to what they're complaining about. I mean, everybody's going through some shit right now. You can't even get a fucking doctor's appointment.
You know what he could have done?
Your way of life is diminishing.
He could have actually been like, all right, before you guys come and shut down the city, all right, send a representative. We'll sit and talk. What are the problems? Let me see what I can do. Right. And then let him.
I would like to say that.
Hold on a second. Where's your numbers? Go up. What is that? You're seeing 62. What does that say?
Go up.
This is November 2021.
No, but scroll up. What does each lane represent?
Oh, the dates.
Turnout, total ballots cast. Okay, voter turnout. What is this? Voter turnout to population?
Speaking to the mic because they don't know what you're yelling at.
Is it voter turnout to population or is it voter turnout to people registered to vote?
Oh, that's a good question.
Fucking kid.
Total ballots.
You're right. Actually, Abdul, you're 100% right.
That's what I want to know.
Fucking Abdul.
Sorry, the 62%. Oh, let me show
is of the ballots.
Actually, they bamboozle
of
people.
People who are registered to vote, so but of the population, how many people are voting?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Well, I think that's what that 27.
Less than half. Well, do 17.
Less than half.
17 times.
Oh, you were correct.
Yeah, you're correct, actually.
Yeah,
you're 100% correct.
I know, because your fucking things were throwing me off. I'm like, wait, now I sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist.
No, you're actually
Turns out you were right, dog.
Yeah,
right.
Because, I didn't pay attention to this.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Right. So it's a people, 62% of people registered to vote showed up. But
That's even
not
crazier.
That's not the population.
Because that's people who actually went to the effort of registering and still didn't vote.
Yeah. Who's able to vote. Right.
Oh, wow.
So it's not. These
So
numbers,
we
see,
did
this is
get
what
less
they
than
do to try and make you
27%.
think that it's fucking, it's not.
So,
yeah, so you were right.
oh, and they don't make it clear on you. Look at this.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Either
these
I
sneaky
look
fuckers. Man.
either way, but you know what the
Sons of
truth
bitches.
is.
Sneak,
Whether
and now if you're working and you're stuck in traffic, do you think you're going to even think about that?
never.
You don't give a fuck.
But here's the best part about it. Whether it was 5% that voted or 100% that voted, clearly the shit that's happening is not good for us. So I don't. Either way, something's not working.
Right.
There's no excuse.
Well, it's pretty evident. Fuck.
But there's no
Yeah.
excuse for a country that's supposed to be modernized. We're supposed to be the first world. There's no excuse why in Quebec, 33% of school children go to school hungry. There's no excuse for that. When we're giving billions
Absolutely
or
not.
trillions to other countries for their issues,
Yeah.
there's no reason why this should be happening. If we're giving that much money away to other countries, you'd assume we all have doctors, healthcare is awesome, our kids are never hungry. So if that's not the case, I really do feel like there's money laundering, there's some washing happening internationally. Like the money that's going to Ukraine, there's no way all that money is going for the war effort and the Vogue cover shots.
Dude,
there's
it's
no
going,
way.
It's going. So now this is what they're doing. They're saying they're donating. So that's the other thing too. They go, so we're going to donate this much money to the war, right? Okay, but you're donating this much money for what? Because you're providing equipment, right? So who's manufacturing the equipment, right? These companies, these big companies that you're helping. So you're giving contracts to big companies. So you're donating money
To a company.
to a company. And the company's making equipment that they're giving to the war. So you're buying equipment for the war. So
I have a question for you.
what?
Because you're well versed in this. Did you see the announcement last week on Twitter? Justin Trudeau said he will be issuing Ukraine war bonds that people could buy from the banks. Ukrainian war bonds. I've never seen in my time
Dude, where
us creating our own bonds on our banks to buy for another country's war. I understand your own country.
This is our war.
Well, now it is.
This is NATO's war. We're part of NATO. Fuck, should I really get in? You want to dive deep,
yeah,
buddy?
let's just
You want to
fucking do it.
dive deep?
Let's do it.
You want to dive deep? All
Bro,
right,
look.
let's dive deep.
If people are listening, they want to know the truth.
Google Putin. All right.
I want to know because I've been warning people.
Google
about chili.
Putin putting in
Ass.
no Google Putin UN claim for Arctic. CBC, right? CBC even. All right, let's go credible. Let's go what we all believe in.
CBC?
Yeah. Okay, where's your article from? What do we got here? No, not 2 hours ago. We got something. No.
Putin UN claim go up. He didn't put Arctic. He put.
Put Arctic. You got to put Arctic.
He said claim
Arctic.
for CBC.
Yeah, no,
I don't think he's claiming to want the CBC, bro. He's
I didn't
so
hear the
bad at
Arctic.
everything
I
he
didn't hear the
does.
Arctic.
Fucking Putin
He's so
wants
bad at everything he does.
Putin wants to run the CBC.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Okay, so
I've
what's
heard
that?
about this.
CBC.
Stop
okay.
yelling.
Go to that. What date is that? You cannot claim anymore. Click on that. April 12th, 2021. All right. So this article right here from CBC says you cannot claim anymore. Russia seeks bigger piece of the Arctic. Okay. So this is Putin putting in a claim. So for years, all right, I think like over a decade, Russia's been in the Arctic doing exploration. They've been going under because they're calculating the grounds underneath. Nobody claims the Arctic. Right now, the Arctic is unclaimed, right?
Yeah.
So Putin's been up there, like Canada. We kind of been defending our north, and for years the Russians have been kind of coming in. Our F-18s have been in the north, being scrambled occasionally for a decade at least.
Yeah, I heard
when the
this.
Russians were coming in because they're doing exploration of the north. Now it's melting. It's a new trade route. There's diamonds, there's oil, there's resources there, right?
Yeah.
Minerals. It's a new route that they can even travel through with a ship.
And they won't need us. They can have their own route if they would own it.
So now Russia, So Russia they put in their claim. Google, leave this one open. Google, when Biden calling out troops from Afghanistan.
Ugh.
Do this. Let's see this, okay? So when did Biden call back all the troops?
August 31st.
Was that the date? No, when was the date he announced they were calling all the troops out?
Date he announced. Fuck, he's good at Googling.
Biden announces full U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan, April 14, 2021. Click on that article. What was the...
Which one, sorry?
Right there, that one you're on. Who's
May
that?
1st. May 1st, it says. Beginning May 1st.
May 1st, okay. And that's U.S. Department of Defense website. Okay, so May 1st. What was that CBC article saying that Putin asked to claim the North?
April 12th.
Okay.
The same day as the other article.
April 12th and May 1st. So you're telling me, so 2-3 weeks after Putin put in a claim for the North, all of a sudden the U.S. was like, you know what, Afghanistan? We've seen enough. We've seen enough. We're going to pull out of Afghanistan. All right?
They did seem
Okay,
to
now
have
Google,
left
when
it
did Russia asked NATO to stop, coming into Ukraine or stop
Hold on,
lining
you said
up.
a lot of words there, buddy.
Russia,
Ukraine conflict.
yeah, Ukraine conflict. Like,
Because it was a few months
because
ago.
Russia
It
was
last year.
telling them to stop putting people on the border.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, he was like, listen, like at the start of it, he was like, listen, NATO, you're getting a little close.
Yeah.
Get out of Ukraine. Otherwise, we're going to have some problems. So when did he
But we should say for people that are really unaware of anything, NATO was created as an entity to fight Russia, because people are like, why does Russia care if NATO is next to their border?
Right.
The whole
Well,
creation
they're another
of NATO
superpower. Right.
Yeah,
NATO's a superpower.
to fight against the Russians.
Well, to anyone. The
Well,
Chinese.
what they
anyone
were
who's
created
the
for, though.
threat.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
they. Yeah. Right. That I'm not as versed in, but I'm just. NATO is a superpower. Russia's a superpower. China's a superpower.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're all fighting for. So now NATO, right? When did Russia say like stop fucking putting people on the border? It was the month after.
Okay.
So they pull out of Afghanistan. Russia puts in their claim for the Arctic. Now here's NATO going, holy shit! All right, we got ourselves a fucking problem here. We can't let Russia take the Arctic. So we got to regroup. Afghanistan, it was fun. Opium was nice. We're done. Let's get out of here. Okay? We got to go to fucking, where are we going? We're going to Ukraine to line up at the border. All right? So that's where NATO went. They took out of Afghanistan because they needed to refocus their energy on what's really going on. There's a huge threat. Russia's making a move. Russia's making a move for the Arctic. We're involved in this war more than anyone even knows right now, but it's going to eventually lead there because that's really what it's about. For me, what I think is this war is realistically, it's trying to destabilize Russia. Russia's going after the North, and NATO's going, fuck you. That's a lot of oil and resources there. That's ours. So what do? Well, we know Ukraine's had a little bit of an issue over there for a while with Russia.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give them some arms. Let's go, Ukraine. Let's help them. Let's help them take... This way, it's not America directly fighting Russia. It's not NATO.
And even though it is, because they're spending trillions of dollars.
Right, of course. I mean, who the fuck... Dude, this Republican guy in Florida got so mad at me because I go, this is NATO's war. I go, this is America's war.
1,000%.
And he goes, this is not America's war. We're just defending Ukraine. This is what we do. We help people. I go, dude, you're rich, right? He's this fucking rich Republican guy. I go, you buy a boat, all right? You go buy yourself a boat. Is that my boat or is that your boat? He goes, well, it's my boat. I paid for it. I go,
exactly.
Who fucking donated the most money to the Ukraine war? Well, that's not the case.
That's your boat, boy.
Well, hey, man, whoever pays the most is who owns it.
Yeah.
That's how anything works in this world. You don't buy something, I go, thanks, Pantelis.
Yeah.
I'm going to take off in your car right now.
No.
It's your car,
Yeah.
right? So if the U.S. is donating, how many billions of dollars?
So is Canada.
So is Canada, of course, because NATO needs to... This is a bigger war than we're all like
Being
aware
led
of
to
right
believe,
now. We're not, it's gonna get there.
Yeah, I think it's going to leak.
It's gonna, I mean, there's
but
no
I didn't
way.
know that they already
It's
had
getting there.
articles about the Arctic stuff. That's why now I believe it'll
Right.
leak.
Nobody thinks about that, but it's Russia was making a move, and I'm not saying Russia's right. I mean, theoretically, the real way to claim an unclaimed place, an unclaimed place in the world is you have to put in, you have to study it, you have to do your geology and everything of the land you're trying to claim.
That's what they're doing.
That's what Russia did, and you have to submit it to the UN. The United Nations has to get a submission from it, and that's your first step to getting a claim.
And they
legally.
submitted it many times.
It. Russia submitted it in that article. It said in April.
But it wasn't the first time.
This is the first time that they submitted it. From what I'm
Go back
aware.
to the article.
This is the first time they submitted it. They've been studying and they've been documenting.
Because you cannot claim anymore.
Right.
So I thought they claimed it a few times.
No. It's just that it's because what they're saying in this article is that it says in this article that Russia.
Oh, they wanted a bigger stretch.
Yes,
okay, you
Russia
can't claim
was
more
trying
than
to come
that.
into a little bit of Canadian territory, a little bit
okay.
of the NATO side. So that's why they were like, no, you can't fucking come into our side. So that's where this, but it's because that's the side that's worth it. So they're fighting over the Arctic and who gets the right of the Arctic is what's really going on. But Ukraine is it's another Afghanistan, it's another Iraq, it's another, like, you're being used, you know, and that's where it fucking sucks. But it's what it is. It's geopolitics, man. It's like they're trying to destabilize a nation. So you use somebody who you can use for right now because it's going to be too direct of a threat if you go at them right now.
Oh, that's World War III.
Well, I mean, listen to it, man. What are they talking about on the news all the time in Canada? What do they keep saying? There's not enough people in the military now. The last 2 weeks, they're like, well, we don't have enough people.
I've noticed that.
Why? Why all of a sudden? We all got to join the military? What's going on?
Same thing in the States.
Yeah, right. Well, why is it all of a sudden now we're worried there's not enough people in the military? What's going on? You know? What's happening? It's going to come out. It's going to take time. And obviously the people that say things first always look crazy. But with time, it always comes out and you go, fuck, yeah, it's true. That's what they were doing. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong. But
I don't feel like you're wrong about this.
Pretty fucking good argument to say, I would say, that this has a lot to do with more than just liberating Ukraine.
No, it has nothing to do with liberating Ukraine. They were an independent country. If NATO wanted them to be free, they wouldn't keep poking the bear to get Russia to attack. So clearly
it feels like they're using the Ukraine.
They did for a long time.
Well, they use the
Ukraine was one of the most corrupt countries on the planet.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Because everyone was going there washing their fucking money. The Ukrainians, all they wanted was a fucking country and to be left alone by the Russians.
Yeah.
But all the superpowers kept doing is using them.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of the stuff in the world, man. A lot of countries get used, man. A lot of stuff has been happening in the world where, I mean, it's been like that forever. Everyone's been using everyone. You know, we all think about like, you know, growing up, we all think of like, oh, this is not going to happen anymore, right? Because you read the history books and you go, well, they all fought. Remember, it's the spice trade. They were going off for spices, right? Because that's what was valuable. And then they were going off for fur, right? Fur was valuable, right? And it just turns out now oil's valuable. You know, there's a lot of things that are fucking valuable.
Gold.
Right. So they're going to go, it never stopped. The powers of the world are still seeking what makes the most money to become the richest. You know, it's not.
Where's China in all this? Because I know they're taking over Africa.
Well, China is just trying to become the next superpower. China, I mean, if you think about it, they're the only one that really has a chance. I mean, Russia does, and it's China and U.S. One of them's going to come out on top at the end of all of this. Someone's going to come out on top. We don't know who yet. It's what's happening, and you just have to watch it and go, you can't predict it. You can't say who's right and wrong because they're both wrong. They're both greedy. They're both just trying to go for money. They don't care about humans. They don't care about our lives. You can't even use a plastic bag. They're blowing up pipelines and how much fucking, you know, how much is leaking into the ocean, you know, just because of a war. You know, they're blowing shit up every day, but you can't fucking drive a gas car now, right? You're the one fucking everything up.
Allegedly.
You know? But it's they're going after the money. They use us as just the scapegoat, and we're just living through this bullshit world, you know, peddling our garbage.
So is there a chance for peace right now, for this war to be over so that shit can stabilize a bit? No, huh?
There's no chance because it's
not Ukraine, Russia.
It's the war for the next superpower. Is in my eyes is what I see is what's going on. And in every economist you can watch, like there's so many YouTube videos.
They're saying the same thing.
Like economists, like credited, you know, like big name economists that are in Wall Street that are saying the exact same shit, that are just going like, this is a war for the next superpower. Like the American dollar's done. They fucked it up. They're all fighting. They're trying to, it's the next superpower is going to either, whoever wins this is going to be the next superpower. And what's scary is it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. It's not slowing down.
And it feels like it would make China the next superpower because the Russians and the Americans are wasting
great chance at
they're wasting all their resources now. They're fighting money. The economy is getting tanked in the U.S.
Yeah.
And then the second China decides to wake up, China's going to be healthy and ready, and everyone else is going to be beaten up.
It's just a question of I mean, there's going to be a lot of casualties. There's going to be a lot of bullshit. There's going to be a lot of bad that's going to come from. It's not going to be good at all. It's all going to be bad. But it is what's happening. As much as people want to just turn a blind eye and pretend this isn't happening, it's happening. It's what's going on in front of you. We're dealing with it every day. The war's not getting less and less severe. It's ramping up. They're telling us now that you got to join the military. We're down. We need more people. Why? What do we need more people? And then they go, you know, like things like they go, well, we're supplying, like Canada's like, well, we're supplying all this equipment to the Ukraine. We're sending them our weapons. Wait, hold on a second. Okay,
then
no
we
military?
don't have weapons?
No, they go no military, right? That's where the U.S. even, they go, our troops are not there, right? Our troops are not there. We're just sending equipment. Really? You're going to send a fucking $1 million machine
to someone that doesn't know how to use it?
Some guy doesn't even know how to fucking use it? No, you're going to send your troops.
Yeah.
They're going to fucking work it, right? They know how to use it. They've been training with it. You don't just bullshit. And now there's 100,000 U.S. troops, if more than that, I think, in the Ukraine, at the border.
Then that's a fucking world war.
Yeah, but nobody's saying it. That's where I find the funny, where I go, there literally is a world war happening right now, but we're just pretending it's not existing. We're just like we're like, fucking butter's $9 again. No one's going, why? Nobody's asking any questions. That's where it's like, it gets freaky. It doesn't get freaky. It's just like, sit back and enjoy it. Hence why I moved to Florida, buddy. I don't give a shit. I'm just living life. I'm going, fuck this. Who knows how long this is going to be? Who knows how long we're going to be? You know, how long is your dollar going to be? Do you see Lebanon? Do you see what's going on in Lebanon?
Oh, it's worth nothing. And they won't even let them pull money out of the bank.
They won't even let them take their money out of the bank. I saw a guy on the news fucking go, he went into a bank with a shotgun.
Stuck up the bank and he just wanted his money.
His money.
Yeah. He's a hero. There was a woman did the same thing.
He's not even robbing the bank. He's like, click.
Give me my money.
Where's my money? Here's my bank card. Click. You know, like, imagine you have to do that. It's not like, what's your PIN? It's like you gotta pump your shotgun to get your fucking money now.
How far off do you think we're from that here?
I hope we're very far off
from them freezing our accounts.
Anything is possible. Anything I think is possible, because who the fuck 5 years ago, if you told anyone this, you'd be like, you're nuts, man. There's no fucking way. But it's literally happening right now. So to put a timeline on it's super hard. I mean, it's impossible. Nobody knows. I pray it gets better more than it gets worse. But you know, greedy fucks. You know, corporations.
Yep.
You think they give a fuck about any of us and like how hard of a struggle you have to go through to live? They don't give a fuck about us. They care about their fucking yachts. They care about what the money going in their pocket is. Obviously, they don't want you to go broke because they need you to make more money, but they need to position themselves before they could even start thinking about making money. And I think that's where we're at now, is like you're in a battle of superpowers trying to find where they're going to stand in this next realm of the world of where we're going to sit in all of this.
And you think this is all because of the resources they could get from owning the Arctic?
Well, I don't think it's all because of it. I think this is where we're like, it's a mad dash for money.
Yeah.
Right? They're all broke.
I think it also has to do with, I brought this up on the morning show a while back, the Northwestern Passage, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
well,
that's it,
what
bro.
the Arctic
I'm muting
is. Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the Northwest Passage is the Arctic.
He just spoke about it for 20 minutes. He's like, let me tell you what I think. Well, you just said.
I Googled this. Well, the Arctic, the Northwest Passage is the trade route. It's the new trade route through the Arctic. He's been saying. Yeah.
Right. But he said, that was the first thing he said.
That's what I was saying. So there's resources.
No, he also said the trade route.
There's a route
he was
through
talking
there.
about it, yeah.
So ships can go through there.
Exactly. And then I said, oh, that's going to open up the new fucking trade route. That's why they want it.
Yeah. So whoever
and then they
owns
won't
that,
need us because they could just go directly.
Whoever owns that is gonna. That's a big money maker, man. Like,
trade.
They don't just let you. They don't just let you. Float your ship through. They charge you. You make money.
Just like now the ports.
Yeah, it's a
There's
big.
money.
So if you have a real route that's worth fucking, it'll save you a shit ton of time in shipping. Well, that's worth a lot of money. So if you control it, you're making all that money.
Well, I know Greece has like the port in Piraeus. And Greece is like
that's owned by China.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So that's the gateway to Europe. It's one of the most important ports. And China runs that.
When Greece went bankrupt, China bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's happening. And people don't realize it's a conspiracy, but it's not. If you really follow geopolitics and you follow what's going on, it's a game. It's what's happening in the world. It's business. So you can't ignore it. You can't just brush it off with saying it's a conspiracy theory. There's nuts that are probably saying some crazy things, but the base of it is real. I mean, it's happening. It's in front of you. So, yeah, the Northwest Passage is a very valuable piece of real estate.
Is it already like has it thought out enough that already we could start using it or not yet?
I think they're pretty. I think it is. I think it's pretty close to being used right now. I think with climate change, that's why they're fighting for it. It's because we've never been closer.
Okay.
That's why for years they didn't really take a move. Nobody made a move on it because they're like, man, it's not really thought out enough. But now we're getting to the point where, yeah, okay, we can start using that as a trade route.
What about Antarctica? What do you know about that?
I don't know anything about Antarctica.
Well, we got to start learning.
I'm versed on the Canadian North. That's my territory, man.
Oh, bro, because I hear shit about Antarctica also, which is another one of those spots where they didn't want anyone owning shit on.
Yeah.
But people still go down there for research. So I want to know what's going on down there too.
I don't know much about it. I don't know if there's a route. I don't think there's a route there. I don't think there's any.
I have no idea. I don't know anything about it.
I have no idea. I haven't really looked into that. I just know I was always really like intrigued with the Canadian North because I've been hearing for like a decade and even I think it's longer than that Russia's always been like kind of inching their way into the Canadian North, and that's why we have F-18s.
Yeah, I heard about the scrambling every once in a while.
They'll go get them and tell them to get the fuck out. So it's always been interesting to me. I'm like, ooh, Russia's making a move. What's happening here? So I've always kind of been like keeping an eye on it. And that's why when I saw that article of like, I saw when Putin made the claim and then a week or so later,
the troops
all
left
of a sudden,
Afghanistan?
yeah, Biden's like, we're calling him out of Afghanistan. I'm like, oh, hold on a second. 20-year war. Why all of a sudden? What happened that now
why are we letting the Taliban take over again?
And then all of it after that, then dude, to the point, fucking people are hanging off the planes.
They're
fucking hanging off. Like they're like, don't leave us. You were here for 20 years. They're like, fuck off. We gotta fight another thing right now. They just took off out of there, and it just all started clicking. And you go, oh, and then Ukraine's got a bunch of NATO troops moving in and sitting at the border with Russia, and then Russia's going, listen, we don't want a war. We're just telling you get the fuck out of Ukraine because you're on our doorstep. And then they keep going. So and then it starts with the like stand up for Ukraine, right? And then everybody starts posting that. Yeah. So once they start putting the flags on the Facebook titles, now you can't even. It's like the truckers again. You talk against it, you're a conspiracy theorist. Yeah. You're against what the prime minister wants, you know. And then it's to the point where like Iran now. What's going on with Iran, right? Everybody's protesting. A woman couldn't wear a hijab. She was murdered.
Because she didn't wear it properly.
Because she didn't wear a hijab. Okay, why do we give a fuck now? We've never cared about.
I said the same thing.
How many hundreds of people, or what? 100 people died in that plane that got shot down. Canadians from Iran, right? Did we give a fuck? Did we sanction Iran? No, we didn't do shit to Iran during that. A woman fucking, her hijab was just a little bit off her face. And they took her in and they killed her, allegedly. I don't know. God rest her soul. I hope, it sucks. But all of a sudden, our whole country is now rallying against one woman? Or is it because Iran is selling drones to Russia and helping them with the war? I mean, what makes more sense? 100 people die in a plane crash that was shot down by Iran?
With our citizens?
With our citizens, right? And we didn't do nothing. And then all of a sudden, a woman wears a hijab or doesn't wear a hijab. And all of a sudden, we're freaking out. We're going, this is not... Trudeau's walking in the streets with Sophie. They're protesting like, how dare they don't let women show their hair. Oh,
well, you know what's crazy? 2 years ago, they were saying the opposite. They go, the hijab is empowering. Put it on, everyone. They should wear it. It's culture. Do you remember this?
Right.
Yeah.
But we're all being played,
now
man.
It's evil.
We're all being played.
Next month, it's going to be good again.
We're all being played, man, with all this bullshit. It's like you're just playing people, man. It's a fucking theater. It's a theater. And that's the one thing that like I find the humor in is because like I watch so much of this that when I see them do things, I go... Well, come on, man. If people were paying attention, they would obviously go, well, this is bullshit. This doesn't make any sense.
They can't say it. Everyone's scared. Like, it's what you said earlier. No one wants to get called out, canceled. Right. They're very scared.
Yeah. You got to watch out what you're saying now because otherwise you lose your job. If you got a good job, you might lose it because you're going against what the government. We're going back to the days of the real war, like World War. Is like, I mean, we should have, red flag should have been going off when we couldn't say things.
Yeah.
You know, when you start getting censored and things you're saying, that's right away red flags should be going like, whoa, hold on a second. Why is it now we can't talk?
Yeah, right after 2001.
Well,
right after September 11th.
We can't talk anymore.
Yeah.
It seems like something's ramping up, you know? It just, yeah, but that whole Iran thing's a whole other story. Like, they're selling drones to Russia. They're on their side.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a whole alliance. And to think it's just Russia is fucking naive. It's Russia. Russia's joining for. There's now a new organization called BRICS.
Yeah. Dude, Poseidon is going to go off on BRICS. He loves BRICS.
You don't understand. I've been talking about the shit. I didn't know about the resources in the north, by the way, but I've been talking about that passage for a while now.
On the morning show.
And then I got laughed at by everyone.
You didn't get laughed at.
Shamed, buddy. Shamed.
You didn't get laughed at because you brought them up without a sequence.
Oh.
So I'll give you an example. Like someone's talking about, let's say, the thing in Ukraine or Trudeau, and then
he didn't know how to do it.
He didn't know how to bring it in, so it was a nonsense. That's like right now.
Articulate the story.
We're talking about this, and then I'd be like, bro, you know September 11th? This, It's like, yeah, but I get it, but it has nothing to do with this, bro.
See, and that's why people get called conspiracy theorists, because they can see it, but they don't know how to articulate it.
That's his problem, is he can't articulate it.
I felt bad for the truckers because a lot of them were that.
Yeah, they couldn't articulate the point.
They had a valid reason for being pissed off. Their way of life was diminishing, and it sucks, and they were mad, but they didn't know how to articulate it other than fuck Trudeau. You know? So it's like everyone's like, whoa, you guys are a little bit wild, man, but they just needed somebody to like articulate it a little better and just go, we're not okay. So say what you want to say.
80% of the people can't actually communicate properly because they don't I don't know how to explain this.
That's the thing.
There you go.
33% of the room is like that right now.
They don't study it.
But hold on, I want to go back to the BRICS. Let him explain the BRICS thing,
please
so that
explain,
people can understand it.
Okay, so BRICS is a coalition. It's basically the new NATO.
Yeah,
they're going against NATO. So now Brazil, Russia,
Iran,
India. No, India. Is it India or Iran? I think it's India.
It's probably India. Actually, they're closer.
There you go.
South
yeah,
Africa.
And that's the major ones. But there's a bunch of little, like now a lot of smaller nations are joining them.
Pretty cool.
So this is the new NATO that's coming up. This is the only way, like, because China can't do it alone, Russia can't do it alone, because you have NATO, you have the United States. Like, you need one that's heading the big fucking game we're all at here. You need somebody to run with it, but then you need allies to help you, strategically cut off resources to certain nations that you're supplying so you can take them out.
Oh, but there's a third one.
There's a bunch more than just that.
No, I mean, there's a third one, because there's a coalition right now. Poseidon, I don't know if you want to bring this up. There's an axis starting up. It's Pakistan, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and check that out, bro. And we're talking about hardcore Islamic rhetoric of chopping heads off enemies.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they did it to Greece. The threats. I got one of them had threatened me on Twitter. He says he's gonna cut my head off.
What do you want me to type? Sorry.
I think that's so small time though compared to what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I'm just saying that access. No. What I'm saying is Pakistan, Turkey, and Azerbaijan.
Right, Azerbaijan. Yeah. They're. I was under the impression that they're pretty close to being on the BRICS side, because Pakistan.
They might just join BRICS.
Yeah, Pakistan.
But Pakistan has a rivalry with India though, and India's already in BRICS.
Yes, but they are pretty close with China.
Look. So what's behind the Azerbaijan Pakistan Turkey alliance?
I think Pakistan even has a port also. Someone has a port. Pakistan has a port, I think, with China or India.
Bro, because those three though, they're fucking dangerous together.
Well,
because Turkey is leading the charge. And
I wouldn't be worried about them, man. I'd just be worried that they might be like a fringe psychotic. We're just going to take over like the countries nobody wants.
Yeah, because the thing is, the other ones, they're trying to economically own people and buy shit.
Right.
These guys are militarily trying to cut heads off and take over. They started in Armenia with that disputed region. I think
there's more to it. I mean, why would they want to just cut heads off?
No. I'm just saying
there's a reason. Right.
Yeah. Obviously, it's geopolitical.
They're there for money. Everyone's there for money.
Same thing with Turkey. Their threats now are they want to take over Greece because there's resources in the Aegean, and they're threatening to come in at night and all that shit. It's very violent rhetoric. Yeah.
Well, I could see. Pakistan has nukes.
Hold on, where did the Arabs?
They're a nuclear force. So
Saudis,
They're
Saudis with BRICS, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The UAE.
Dude, they just turned on. This is what I was telling someone, and they're like, Russia's got nobody with them. I'm like, dude, Saudi Arabia, OPEC just fucking stood up for Russia.
Yeah, OPEC stood up for Russia.
Like, how could you say that?
Not
Like,
just that. So Greece is going to be in a fucked up place because Greece is part of NATO. Turkey is also part of NATO. Turkey is threatening to take over Greece. Turkey still owns North Cyprus. Turkey still occupies that since the 70s.
Okay.
They haven't given it up. They don't want to give it up. So they have occupied territory. Now, Greece is getting mad. They go, we're sending all this money to the Ukraine because you're saying it sucks that they're being occupied. We've been getting occupied by a NATO ally since the 70s, and you guys don't say anything about it. Like, it's cool because you don't want to fuck with Turkey.
Right.
Greece is making a lot of alliances, trade alliances now with Egypt, Israel, and the UAE. Because in the region, it's good for them, right? They have trade routes for fucking gas, oil. They're setting up all kinds of stuff. So what Turkey, with Pakistan, Azerbaijan are doing is they're making an alliance. They're trying to make an alliance with Libya, with this government that doesn't even have the power to make treaties,
right?
To cross and be like, no, we're going to take this over because because Greece is in between them. So like Greece is going to fall under our jurisdiction as if we're not an independent nation,
right?
So all this shit is stirring up right now.
Well, that's where, like, again, it's not just the big picture. There's also, because everything's like there's instability everywhere. It's all smaller nations now that are also at threat of losing certain, because smaller nations are going, well, we'll fight this little war while they're fighting this big war.
Yep.
You know, we want these little strategic places that'll help our tiny country, you know?
It's fucking crazy.
It's a free-for-all. It's a world war. We're at a world war
We're at a world war right now.
But
it's being done different than the first two. The first one was done different from the second one. This one, there's a lot of digital. This is the war, I think, that has the most misinformation. Because let's say the Second World War. The Second World War had a lot of misinformation. Like, for example, the Germans were telling their people that, bro, you know what, you know why our economy is tanking?
Yeah.
It's not because we tried to take over the world last time and they fucked us. It's because of the Jews. So that was misinformation too, to find the enemy and attack it there to unite them.
Right.
But now the misinformation is even crazier because now, dude, there's all these, there's not one plot that everyone's following. There's all kinds of subplots. Like, that's a racist, that's a thing, you're this, so everyone's fighting with themselves. It's not one against the other. Now there's all these micro wars.
Yeah.
Culture wars. They destroy the American culture. Dude, America is more divided than I've ever thought it could be. And they're divided over everything. They're divided over teams, over gender, over this, over that. They've destroyed that country.
In a bad place. If Trump, that's what they're doing now. They're trying to take down Trump discredit him to not be able to run, because if he runs, I mean, rightfully so, he's a fucking, they're all fucking, if you tell me any one of those fucking, any politician at a federal level in America should not be, they're all crooks.
I don't want you to say that about the host of The Apprentice.
They're trying to discredit him in that sense, because if he runs, because
he calls shit out, bro. He'll
say not that he calls shit out. It's that it'll be a real civil war. I think you'll really be divided. The country will be divided. But
they're not united right now.
They're not. But if you give them something to actually have as like merit, like
give them the ammo,
you give them that. You right now it's all Democrat, right? I mean, there's no real Republican that like is like resonating with the people. But
DeSantis.
But he's he's a nut, but I don't think he's as nuts as Trump.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's why, to me, I think DeSantis would be a better Republican candidate.
Yes,
because you could be like, oh yeah, I could go back to Republican. This guy just wants less taxes, more freedom. I'm for that.
He'd just be like,
whereas he's not going to come out and be like Trump, who's very impulsive, and be like, listen, stupid. Right. So he doesn't do that stuff.
DeSantis probably just wants everyone to use separate bathrooms still. And
which is fine.
He doesn't want to have anyone be able to say that they're gay or trans or anything. Well, it's like, that's not really like that whole like can't say gay thing.
Yeah,
that was so exaggerated.
I didn't know. At first I thought it was real.
As much as you want in Florida, nobody's going to tell you can't say it, but it's all bullshit that they try to build a narrative off of. But if Trump runs, there's never been anyone more polarizing to divide than Trump. Like, man, that guy.
But the media made him.
They fucking ran. They January 6th, man. They went into the Capitol building.
But the media created that. Because he was always Trump. He was the dude. He was the host of The Apprentice, and the media kept saying he's a threat to national security.
That's their American
it's so
greed
crazy.
because they wanted to make money off advertising and make him a superhero who's like a celebrity psycho and just like make money off of him.
Yeah,
you know. So they amped it up. It's America's demise seems like it's gonna come from themselves.
That's what it looks like.
They're gonna destroy themselves because, and it's sad to say because they are divided. But they are very divided, like very divided, like to the point where you can ask a Democrat why they like Democrats, and you're like, well, that's the fuck, it doesn't make any sense. And you ask a Republican, like, why do you like? Make sense. You go, you don't fucking make sense either. You're both stupid.
You're in a cult.
Yeah, you're both stupid. You're both like going down the wrong path.
You've culted it up.
But that's like their life. That's the business. They've chased money. They've chased what's like money is what they've chased their whole lives. So they don't think about people. That's why I'm frustrated with Canada is because as Canadians, we've always been like, we care about people. An American told me this. This lady told me this in a bar on the beach in South Florida. She goes, you're Canadian. She goes, you know the differences between you guys? She goes, in America, I got to care for myself. I got to think about how I'm going to eat tomorrow. I'm going to think about how I'm going to make money. I got to think about what I got to do. In Canada, you guys think, what can I do for someone else? What can I help someone else with? What can I be nice to someone? Can I do something, maybe you got healthcare. I'll pay a little so you can get healthcare. We think about everyone around us.
Or at least we were supposed to.
We're supposed to. And that's what frustrates me with what's going on in our country right now is that we're losing focus. We're losing focus on like, hey, and the worst part is our liberal prime minister who's supposed to be fucking uniting us is really dividing.
Yeah.
And same with the conservatives. And same with the NDP. Well, the NDP is like a useless. They're not convincing anybody. But you have the conservatives and the liberals dividing, and that's not Canadian. Canadians are supposed to be united. We're supposed to think about, hey man, you want a drink? You want something? You see someone at the bar, or buy them a drink, you have a good time. That's what Canadians are. So that's where it frustrates me is where we're going down we're becoming Americanized.
Not even, because it works for America and the economy there is different. Here, it doesn't work that way of life here at all. We can never be that independent.
Though. It's coming,
let me take care of myself.
I mean, look at our healthcare.
But that's what I'm saying, because the way we're structured, there, let's say privatized. So let's say you have insurance. You could go to a nice hospital. We don't have that here. Even the private hospitals in Montreal are kind of shit, most of them.
Right.
You still wait. We don't have the infrastructure America does to be able to do that. That's the problem.
Money. We don't have the money.
But the infrastructure.
Right, yeah.
So even if, let's say right now you're a millionaire.
Right.
But your options here are a shit sandwich for $1 million or a shit sandwich for $50.
Yeah.
If you pay $1 million, you still have a shit sandwich.
Right.
Whereas in the States, if you have the money, you have the best that you can get.
Well, the rich still have it good here. They can leave. They can leave. They can go get their services anywhere. They can still pay.
We need, but here, I'm saying here, what's available here, we need to up our game here. Or even that won't work. Even if everyone would be a millionaire here, we don't have options. Yeah. It's like North Korea. $1 million in North Korea means nothing. They don't have anything.
Right.
And that's what we're leading towards here too. Our economy shit. The money is going to these tanks, to these fucking corporations to build that stuff. Whereas our hospitals are shit. Our schools have problems. Our doctors in Quebec are leaving.
My family doctors, they're all leaving. They closed the practice. They closed they sold it. They sold it to fucking Telus.
Telus.
My doctor's office was a private doctor clinic, right? It was all the doctors that owned it. They sent an email out to everyone, all the patients. My parents have been with this doctor. I've been with this doctor since I was a kid. My parents have been with him since they're fucking here. This doctor's just fucking off. They all sold their practice.
He's like, but we'll get you some minutes, some weekend time.
Imagine, tell us, dude, like a corporation is buying out our medical system. There's a reason. It feels like it's going down the American route of privatization.
Of everything.
It feels like we're going... I mean, you go to the hospital...
Well, now we have no choice.
See a doctor.
The government has discussed this because of the way everything is going. We have no choice to allow privatization. That's why Quebec...
It's not
even
that
though it's illegal,
no choice. It's that they let it happen.
No, constitutionally here, we're not supposed to have both.
Really?
Here, George was explaining that to us. He goes, technically it's not, but we had no choice. You know why? Because the regular hospitals couldn't handle
it, right.
So the only way is, well, we have to have some private stuff so we could alleviate, or else we're all fucked.
And that's why if you go see a private doctor from the hospital, if they say, okay, well, the doctor sees you at the hospital and he goes, okay, well, come back for a checkup at my private place, it is covered by healthcare.
That's good.
But if you go there like on your own, you'd have to pay. But this was like 10 years. I mean, they still find this is nothing. This is petty fucking money shit, but they'll still go. Like this happened to me. I had a lung surgery. So the doctor, or I had something with my esophagus or whatever. So they sent me they did a camera, right? They put the camera down your throat. And then the doctor was like, come see me at at my clinic for a follow-up. My lung doctor, who I did have surgery with, was like, make sure when you go see him at his private clinic, because I told him about what happened. He goes, make sure you don't pay. You don't have to pay. Because you saw him in the hospital, you don't pay him a dime when you go to his private clinic. So I go, okay, thanks for that. I went to the clinic.
They tried to charge you?
The fucking secretary tried to charge me $25 to fucking pay. She goes, well, your appointment is 20. And I go, no. My surgeon at the hospital told me I don't have to pay because this is like a follow-up from a hospital visit. Yeah. And she was like, well, okay, I'll let it slide this time.
I'll let it slide. You're not letting anything slide.
No, but they've been trying, like already there have been like, but that's like small time bullshit.
It's small time, but the fact that they try is you're supposed to be a fucking doctor. And we're nickel and diamond for 25 bucks.
We're getting to the point though now where it's like, it's full blown. It's like if corporations are buying up medical clinics, there's a fucking reason. It's like, it's getting to big money now. We're talking about like privatization, if that's the case, because you're not going to be able to afford scan machines and all this stuff as a private little clinic. You need a big corporation.
Well, of course you need a big corporation because even the government, all this shit. The government hospitals can't afford shit because the money's not going there. The money's going to their buddies' pockets for these stupid apps.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%. Yeah, so it's I
like that people agree with this. They're like, he's doing a great job.
Again, they don't know enough. They give them enough to know, but not enough to know. And that's it.
Abdul, this has been one of the most badass podcasts that we've done in a while.
Thanks,
thank you for coming in. Abdul Butt links are in the description. Follow him on the YouTubes, on the Twitters, on the Instagrams. Abdul Butt.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot for having me, buddy.
Thanks,
Poseidon.
We've built this prison cell.